not, that's concentrated.
Not 50-50, not forget it. It's been a while since I did anything, and that's about some.
Pretty expensive these days.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want another one? You already got one.
More desk space.
Okay, are you ready?
I am.
Yes. This was one before we uploaded the police wages. Let's see what's what they're showing now. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were in the process, but these were printed from my others. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's more like what it should be.
And it should be. We'll have. That's on my list next time I talk to Harris because his when it's processed defaults back to another account, and if you're not quick, you catch it.
Fine.
Last time it goes into the wrong one, and it will go quick after you modify the check, and right before you have to.
That's what we're doing now.
So it's.
Like a sequence of things that is done over the years.
I can't find
And I don't understand why it doesn't save, because certain things will save and certain things will not save.
Yeah, it should be memorized. Right.
And it's not. So that's that's on my project too.
See if they can straighten that out first.
Because there's some of them that I put in the save. And there's some of them I put in the save. This is not checks. What do you mean? You're on our original.
Yeah. I'm quick and easy.
Yeah. 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 This is good. This one Christmas.
So are they coming back to start paying again?
Soon as wrong.
That's what I figured. Yeah, it's just these storms coming through, it's just like stuff.
They went down this morning, ground up the bar. Forest fire.
It's nice to know who might
I don't know. What's this like?
do equipment.
They'll have
It's
amounts on them.
You mean it's.
like a back to Apple.
781, it does not correspond to the amount.
Just because of one of that billing view.
Yeah, and I wonder if that Charlotte sticky that just got, is it, there should be.
There are
Not all of them. Some of them have them, some of them don't.
Can I see that one? Because there's one that we have to keep track of because we have to bill them. Okay.
There's like 3 of them with it.
Okay, so this one, under this address, they're being billed. So this must be the running total. Because I have, because there is more than one, there's 6 on my desk. So it's just for that address.
Yeah, I already checked that out. King, for instance, has 2, but they don't add up to the total amount that they want.
This is what you're doing? Did you keep your list or did you give it to me?
Like that big, you just had this flip the ball and I asked you to.
Yep. You guys sound a bit in here. That's not what it's at. This red folder must stop too.
I guess there's a bill before the House or the Senate to change the name of dread to anything else.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the name does not impart like a
Department
sense
of
of.
Resources and Economic Development,
Right.
but it comes out to drag.
I don't know, I saw that they were, I think it's still in committee or something.
Oh,
And evidently, it's not the first time they've proposed that.
They shovel the library and they shovel this off.
well, they could call it Department of Resources and Economic Development, and that way it isn't first the initial grant, and then
But the shoveling
Okay.
is
They
not
did.
included in this.
The worst one I've ever heard was the state of, it was
It's supposed to
Iowa.
include cleanup, fall cleanup.
They had some department.
Right. Sure.
For the elderly. But they decided on the Department on Aging for DOA. They changed that one.
get on a roll. Not too good.
Also, all the flags on the telephone wires.
Good.
This way, touching down, is that always on track, right?
Yeah. I know it. I don't know much, but I know.
Okay, well, we got an estimate. We should probably talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Or we can talk about it right now, if you guys.
All right, are you looking
Okay,
at,
Are you looking at the same?
are you
I'm
looking
not
at Rag
looking at
Lane?
that. What is that?
This is the estimate for, doing a survey of Rag Lane.
Oh,
And it comes in at $3,000 estimate. Are you guys okay with spending approximately $3,000 on a survey?
I thought it was already done.
Not all of it.
Who said no?
So
You said
They
no?
only did part of it, I'm not sure why they didn't complete the whole thing, but we were under the impression when they hired them, that they were doing the whole thing. And they never did, same thing happened with Linus, we never did the top part where that plateau was up there where we marked off.
That's the survey? Oh, 3 years ago, well, when the selectmen, they had finished that, yeah.
Not bad, no.
Well, if you're certain that we haven't done it already.
That's perfect.
Huh?
We can sign that one too.
I haven't seen that whole pile of it.
Okay, well, I'm assembling it here.
I
Your
understand.
signature on some of it. I think you signed everywhere. Or at least we got 2 out of 3. Those. These are timber cuts if you want to take a look at those. But we'll just set this aside and we'll discuss it. All right, we'll wait till, have we got through this deal? Yours.
I got it now. The lawyer's bill.
Just over budget, huh?
That's all right. Oh, I knew that. That's not the person who wrote the last one.
I thought I was done. Rock's pulling these out of his hat.
Who's paying? Cancel room. Oh, Ellen Chase. Marcus Kelly.
Which one's driving the chainsaw?
Well, I don't know if you're the skipper. I'm gonna watch this.
30, 40, 50, 80, 100.
He's where he is.
Last meeting's very great, so if you were.
Okay, we still haven't hit these. No, I did sign.
What's the thing?
We're just having those to sign. Okay.
You gonna take some of your files?
Have you got the letter from the governor? I'll take a copy of that too. Actually, we'll just distribute that to these guys. It's right there. And if you got an extra one, maybe, do you have an extra one?
I'm just 5.
Okay.
Actually,
give one to Ann, since she kind of
Please,
spurred this
thank
along.
you.
We'll
Because,
make this available to everybody. It's,
because the bill is going to the governor.
yeah,
Did these come to David, so he knows that they're
I will make copies and give those to them after.
good to know?
Yep. That's that blue folder up there.
Just a day.
You see that? Right, Marlon? 2 acre open field and a 2 acre woodland.
That's usable.
No, that's what it says for
Yeah, that'd be great.
survey.
Oh.
that's the page, okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna hop around a little bit on our agenda because Ann showed up and, we had talked over the weekend. I wanted to make sure we got something ready to go in front of you guys tonight, so if it's okay, we can proceed and get this, emailed and then followed up with a hard copy to the governor. This has to do with the Silvio Conte. It was started by the Silvio Conte Comprehensive Conservation Draft, and some concern that people within the town have had about the Fish and Wildlife Plan for Alstead. That's pretty much what it comes down to. The selectmen in the past have made our opposition to the Comprehensive Conservation Plan known, not because we're anti-conservation, but because we are concerned with the record of fishing, wildlife, and protecting the property rights of people, the effect of the loss of 25% of our accessible lands to the federal government, and a promise that we'll get some small percentage of that back, and numerous other issues. Part of the result of Ann's work and others' work has been to get some legislation moving through the House and the State Senate. One of those bills, SB 324, basically does away with the existing land board, and it requires that any future purchases by the federal government of New Hampshire land within the state boundaries, goes through a board that's made up of numerous people. It's people that are appointed, no salary paid, but they are appointed, I think, by the House, the Senate, and maybe the governor. I could be way off on that. If you got SB 324 in front of you, feel free.
You want to read it, or shall I?
No.
Well, it's okay. I think if we have what's your elevator pitch, high level?
Okay, the important changes to the existing law
Right.
are for the town of Alstead. Such acquisitions shall be further limited in each town, city, or unincorporated place to an amount of land, the assessed valuation of which shall, this is the change, well, there's others too, but shall not result in total lands held by the federal government to exceed 5% of the total assessed valuation of all the real estate in such town, city, or unincorporated place at the time of acquisition, and shall be approved by a vote of the governing body.
That's what I was trying to describe poorly.
By the governing body, after complying with RSA 121:4. The assessed value shall be the highest and best use at the time of acquisition as determined by an assessor certified under RSA 21J:14-F and possessing either the property assessor or property assessor supervisor's certification level. A town or other...
And can you, we don't want to hear all that. What we want is an abbreviated version.
Well, it means that all of the land that they acquire cannot exceed the 5%. It means that
Has it been passed yet?
it's going to the governor.
Pass the House and pass the Senate.
It's going-
And is this a petition?
This is us petitioning the governor to sign off on, to sign it.
To sign it
and
into
put
law.
SB 324
It
in
all
law.
depends on the governor now. And also, the new thing in here is if a town wants to exceed the 5% limit, they may by a vote of the people.
Yeah.
There's also ways for DRED to better get a handle on what's going on and how much land is involved, and a way for them to track it.
Thank you.
And she wants us to sign it as a petition to the governor?
Yes, yes. So what I drafted, and I'll read this out loud and I'll read fast.
Can I point out, if I'm reading this, I think there's a mistake in here on the second page in summary.
And if there's one mistake, then you are certainly wrong, because there are many mistakes on this.
I don't know. In reading it, I caught this, the very in summary, the Board of Selectmen.
Oppose, urge you to sign.
I think it's one or the other.
I may have been working off of a different document when I wrote this, which I did. All right, Office of the Governor. Dear Governor Hassan, the Alstead Board of Selectmen encourage you to sign Senate Bill 324 when it crosses your desk. We consider this vital legislation to prevent the unchecked acquisition of New Hampshire lands by a federal government. As selectmen, landowners, and citizens of Alstead, we take great pride in our town's natural beauty, resources, and ecosystems. Alstead possesses not only a dedicated conservation commission, but also the Cold River Local Advisory Committee, the Lake Warren Association, and many private owners that have voluntarily put their land into conservancy. Additionally, we would characterize Alstead as a community that deeply respects its environment and the need to preserve it for future generations. Alstead finds itself in a precarious position regarding federal ownership of New Hampshire land vis-a-vis the proposed acquisitions under the Silvio Conte National Wildlife Refuge Comprehensive Conservation Plan Act. Plan draft. In short, the service preferred option, C, calls for the federal government to acquire over 25% of our town. This level of acquisition on a small New Hampshire town and the loss of tax revenue with a promise of some fee sharing would be devastating to our local economy, tax base, and we must ask, would it lead to more protection for our natural resources than our citizens and local businesses have already demonstrated? There are larger issues at hand that we believe should be considered when the federal government comes to help. One, we believe that conservation is best practiced when practiced locally and is least efficient when performed by the federal government. We strongly support private citizens and local groups, non-governmental and governmental, conservation efforts in our town. Our local conservation commission, independent conservation groups, and thoughtful private landowners have continuously increased the acreage under protection without federal guidance or oversight. This will continue without federal intervention. Two, we believe in the sovereignty of our citizens, our town, and our state. We do not see any benefit to federal acquisition of private land that would justify violating New Hampshire law, and believe that this proposed action is in violation of New Hampshire Title 9, Chapter 121. I go on to list the law there. 3. Oh, you read it all? Okay.
You have written it.
I'll finish this just for go fast. We do not believe that if this land were acquired by the federal government, that they would allow the citizens of Alstead to continue to use this land as it has been used historically and responsibly. Example given is U.S. Fish and Wildlife's history within New Hampshire at the Wapak National Wildlife Refuge. Citizens are allowed to hike in this refuge, but are no longer allowed to jog. This arbitrary decision remains in effect, as does a current ban on picnicking. These examples of U.S. Fish and Wildlife stewardship of acquired lands do not mesh with the common sense conservationism of our citizens. We would logically expect to see similar regulations imposed upon lands within our town should they become the property of the federal government. Finally, the citizens of Alstead petitioned to have a warrant article added to our town's meetings ballot this year, which passed with about a 2-1 margin. And then it goes on to go Article 19. In summary, the Board of Selectmen for the town of Alstead, New Hampshire, urge you to sign New Hampshire Senate Bill 324. So I will move that we sign with one change.
On one piece, or do you want all 3 separate signatures? Well, everybody has their own. Do you want separate signatures?
No, we just need one copy signed, and we'll have to do that on letterhead. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that when I can make it down here tomorrow. Will you have that work on that first thing?
Oh, I have to be on the second one.
Yeah, we'll do it on letterhead.
Could I request that when you send the copy, you send it registered mail?
Receipt requested,
That would be nice.
Signature.
if you would donate the extra cost, I'm sure we would be glad.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, whatever the least expensive way is to make sure that she got it, that's what I'm interested in.
Right.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded that we approve this letter and sign it, all in favor?
My favorite.
Aye. All right, good. All right, thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
All right, David. How are you? Good. What are you doing lately?
Moving.
Good. So, what have you been working on since we last spoke?
Valley Road, pretty much. We're putting on top coat. They moved the paper out today because of the rain, probably won't pay tomorrow because of the rain, but as soon as it's dry again, they'll be back and finish. It's all shim, it's just gonna finish the top coat. March Hill is completely done.
Can I say, it's great.
Not yet. We finished. Everybody over there seems very happy and all we just eats all day long, we don't get any more. The other.
Until the cars do about 80 miles an hour past the house.
That's not my problem.
All right. I know we had a couple things, a couple questions come up regarding mowing. So there were concerns brought up by a few citizens. Some of them actually made it through the offices here, and many on Facebook. But some of them called the individual selectmen, saying, "What's the deal? We go play baseball, and it looks shaggy. It looks smart. Should we have that?" We have questions about mowing up around the byless parking areas and stuff like that that always come up. I'm not saying there were any complaints about that.
Out here, it was starting to turn brown and burn, so we didn't want to mow it until we got a little rain, and that's just what we did, because otherwise it would have been all burnt right up to nothing.
Gotcha.
We got it down, we got rid of the dandelions, we got it, but we didn't dare to mow it.
Looked great when I came by.
There was a bunch of clover and stuff out there, but I didn't feel we did.
Horrendous, yeah. Do you tell the guys when to mow it, or do they just let them know?
No, I tell them when to mow it. And we collectively look at it
They'll have
together,
it, yeah.
and, it's not just this one, but all of them.
Right. So between that, I know in last year's select board, there were two different things we looked at. And Joe kind of headed up the effort on this stuff, but that was to see, was there somewhere we could contract out roadside mowing, because that's always a challenge. And could we contract out basically what is parks and recreation mowing? And little stuff around town that could be done.
You have a whole list of the mowing in front of you somewhere,
Excellent.
of what? And there's a lot of other stuff that goes with that park and rec stuff too, but I don't know how deep you want to get into that.
Well, I think mowing's the big thing. But I think we should revisit that, and there's a lot of stuff, a lot of research that was done last year, by Joel to see, number one, if there's a way to do it, with less cost of the taxpayer, I'm all for it. And if that involves taking some of that stuff out and contracting it out, putting it up for bid. I did get a response back. I had talked to the local government, group, just to bounce off the question of, how formal do I really have to get on this stuff? Do I really have to be licensed and bonded? And then I also asked, can I seriously just get some 16-year-old kid to go out and mow that stuff? Like, sort of if you would like a job over the summer and you want to contract with us to do so, yeah, they shut that down. So,
Brian St. Pierre, I'm on the Tri-Town Rec Committee, and this is the reason I'm here tonight, is I know some of the complaints that come up from our coaches or some of the parents that are involved in baseball or soccer.
Sure.
So I just wanted to see if there was anything that we could do to help the town, maintain the fields, since I know that we're one of the bigger users, especially during spring, fall soccer.
Do you own a mower?
Well, and you know,
I didn't want to ask the obvious
the
question.
thing that you just brought up was, you know, sounds like you need somebody that's bonded. You know, I can't just have people show up with a mower and start mowing.
Unfortunately not, and it's one of those times, and the local government commission's always going to recommend the best way you could possibly protect your town from lawsuit.
Sure.
So I don't know how much of that is actually true. And to me, it's a great opportunity for a small business to like get a little piece of work and probably save the town money. That kind of drives me nuts, but it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know if volunteers may be exempt from that. That's something we could pursue.
And the other thing I was gonna provide, you know, I gotta go back to the committee and vote or whatever to expend funds, but if the town needs a little bit of money for extra mowing that's needed for, you know, keeping the fields nice for during sports season, then, you know, we can talk about that too, if you're contracted.
You know, I'm interested in this, what level of, for instance, it's maintenance, which is just keep it down, keep it presentable. Then there's turning the lawn into the field into a product where you have, and you can spend any level of money you want, from weed control, you can do multiple mowings per week. You can even do like they do in the baseball field where they mow it this way and then they mow it that way so that you've got all those little checkerboards. You can spend any amount of money on lawn care or field care that you want to. What I'm curious now is the people who use the field, what are they expecting? What would they like us to do? And then we can decide whether or not we can afford to do it.
That's a good place to start.
And I can mainly speak for soccer. I don't do baseball. I don't have a lot of expectations there. But for soccer, as long as the grass isn't like this, so that the ball doesn't roll down the field, then,
So it's a maintenance type level.
it's really just basic maintenance. I've never had a problem with the condition of the fields here. You know, I go out and I stripe them in August, put the lines in the soccer fields. Done that for the past 3 or 4 years, and then go and redo it in, you know,
So he's
October.
asking
So
me what we provided.
Yeah. I think it's probably more seasonal when we're getting into fall
Are the
and
baseball
soccer
people
season.
happy?
We're probably not. No.
What are their standards?
I think their standards were the same. It just, as David said, it got pretty shaggy because, according to David, they were letting it grow out, so we did cut it short and scorch it.
I don't want it to look in the beginning of June like it does at the end of August. Brown and nasty dust.
Well, we can always put in a sprinkler system.
That's what Walpole has, that's why Walpole's fields look so nice all the
And
time.
they go from there to here and they complain about our field.
All live that we strike Tim's.
Yeah, $1 million park.
$1 million, well, yeah, didn't Hubbard pay for that? $1 million or something? $2 million?
But that's exactly what this needs. If it had water, it would be not a problem to mow it as often as it needed to be, but we don't have the water, and we don't want to burn it up. It's the only piece of grass we got in the center of town.
I think one of the points of this conversation should be, though, we should look into getting it outsourced.
Agreed.
I have
So
no,
we don't have the maintenance on the lawnmower, we don't have 2 people that are doing that, 1 or 2 days out of the week.
It takes about 18 hours.
You're hiring a company that's what they do, that's their livelihood.
I'm all in favor of getting an estimate. But I can tell you right now that the estimate is going to be $65 an hour, which is $1,000 a week.
You'd be surprised how fast somebody at $65 an hour
And mow lawn.
grass,
Okay?
compared to what we have now.
I move we get an estimate.
I will second that.
We need estimates.
And I talked to the fellow you asked me to talk to.
Me?
Yes.
I didn't talk to anybody.
No, you told me to ask Wade about mowing up the Vital School and getting that all.
Oh, right.
He has no time to do it. He's buried. That's what he called me back and told me.
Okay.
So that's where.
Well, he's a smart man.
But I think, working off of this, we probably have enough to start to put together a request for.
I would take the 18 hours off.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna have a formal bid for it, right?
And then we can evaluate it, knowing that we have other things in that budget that we're gonna have to do. in the budget, some snow shoveling is in that budget.
We can do it one of two ways. And that was another thing we talked about. Do we take this mowing piece out of Parks and Recreation, or is this an opportunity to look at pretty much everything Parks and Recreation does and say, okay, sub this out? Would that be more attractive for some company to have some sort of year-round work? That's how I would.
I'm confused. Explain to me that all over again. What is it that you want to do?
So if you came out and said, we need somebody to mow, we're going to be looking for contractors that are interested in picking up more work in their busiest time of year.
Well, we've listed the different areas that we want mowed.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're getting?
What I'm saying is if you also added on things like snow shoveling and other things like that, taking care of putting up and down flags, other things that are Parks and Recreation.
Let's start with the basic.
What's that?
Let's start with the basic.
I'm fine.
Because if you're going to make it that way, then it's going to get pretty complicated.
It doesn't.
Are we just gonna leave it to mowing, or are you gonna include fall cleanup?
The leaves, breaking.
All together.
I think what we need to do is, between the three of us, put together a
Basic level of maintenance.
yes, and what does that include? I will absolutely volunteer either of you to do that.
Well, tell us.
Or to head that up, I should say.
Let us know when you get done and we'll review it.
No, I really would like to have one of you guys, if you guys could head up that process, that would be great.
All right.
Okay. Excellent. So that's what we do that.
And it doesn't include, by the way, all of the, I noticed you have the monument in here, but it doesn't include, for instance, the monument by Lake Warren and some of the other, there's some things that it may not include. I know the cemetery people do some of it.
Yeah, well, and that's where putting this together might require a little bit more research, you know, maybe it's gonna be a call to David saying,
Those are the things that we mow.
Oh, already, this is what.
This is what I mow.
Okay.
Mostly on a weekly basis or a week and a half basis.
Do you have a problem with us taking it out of the recreational?
No, because that gives me two people I can use doing ditches and flagging and driving trucks instead of riding a lawnmower.
Do they have their license to drive a truck?
Randy, yeah. And Brad, he usually is in the excavator or loader, so.
sure.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to put together a request for proposal and RFP. We'll get that out there in front of some potential vendors. We'll look at the total cost of that. We'll compare it to what you got going on. We'll have to see how much time would be saved by your guys. It's got to make sense financially, or there's no sense in pursuing it.
Or it has to fall, it has to be less than the budget, or we can't do it.
Yep. Very good. All right. So we talked about mowing. So I guess you would talk to Bruce regarding the retaining walls?
We're working on that right now. I got Sheldon, he can be here on Friday. I tried to catch up to Bruce today. I didn't, but I will catch him somewhere tomorrow and try to get everybody together right out here.
And that is
We'll go from there.
for the purpose of defining the scope of work and starting to get some estimates?
Yes.
Okay.
Who did you talk to? One.
Yeah, Sheldon Lawn. His son.
Before we do the budget review, you want to do the draft interview on that here?
Well, I was thinking, I think this portion of the budget review needs to be in a couple spots. We can work with David's budget while we got him in the hot seat. It's not that hot, is it? Okay. Do we have anything else, any other questions for David regarding DPW at this time? Anything from the public?
I'll be able to get Buzz back in a moment.
I was wondering if there's a possibility if David should take a look at that, it's not really a hydrant, but it's a connection, on Huntwood Road, you know, that the
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get all grown up again.
And that's normally one thing, we go around twice a year and mow that down. That,
I'm just saying, if you can take a look at it, it's gonna get grown.
and I don't think they can draft out of that one anymore because there's not enough depth without extending.
That's a whole different issue, and that never came up.
So question whether the hydrant's functional?
I don't think it is right at this time.
It's been a number of years since it's been used, but if it is functional, it's a great access point. It should one of those camps so houses go up.
Yeah. If it's not functional, should that be something we should be looking at?
Talk to Kim about that, yeah, it just needs to, I think it needs to go out in the water further.
Is that a Kim question?
Yes.
Okay.